Once upon a time, there was a place called Bachelors Grove Cemetery. And nobody really knew about it. And then one day, a guy by the name of Tony Vasey, he came out here with an SX-70 Polaroid camera. And it was going off by itself. He noticed some anomalous photos besides the effect of the camera going off being anomalous, I guess. But then he started snapping some shots and was getting strange lighting effects. And then he approached Richard Crowe. We should all know Richard Crowe by now. Before he died, I was talking to him on the phone, and we were going to compare some of the property records I had with his map that he created of people seeing the ghost house. And part of that topic was also the first photographs to ever come out of Bachelors Grove, at least publicly. He said he still had these things. He mentioned how they were in some books and some old TV shows that he was on. This one particular one that he described, and I came across it. Was it Fuzzy TV or something like that? Archived it, put it on YouTube. So I kind of want to clip that in here. Unfortunately, it's the only clear photograph I have of any of these Polaroids. Richard died, so we were never able to get these things more out into more public view, you know, and get them scanned in. I'm sure they're still out there. I'm sure Richard's sisters or whatnot still have all of his material. It would be awesome if they can come forward and for the bugs to leave me alone. But yeah, that's the best we can do, is this one from this one video clip that, yeah, he was sitting there talking about the ghostly stuff, and they kind of brought it up. And he kind of promoted that if any people in high school or college want to do some experiments, write a paper on doing ghost photography, which was kind of a cool approach back then. Richard was a really interesting guy. He definitely still had an interest in the paranormal, even though he did tours. So yeah, Polaroid photographs from yesterday that I was talking about, the one with me. I wanted to kind of bring up the SX-70. I came across an SX-70 Polaroid camera at a Salvation Army store, Goodwill store. I was going to pick it up, but it wasn't in the greatest condition. Polaroid amazingly offers refurbished units that look brand new, but they're $400. And they brought back the original SX-70 film, which the original Polaroid didn't have a flash, so you needed a lot of light. And some of these first Polaroids that came out of the Grove look kind of dark, and that's probably why there was no light, there was no flash. So he mentions that the film is sensitive to infrared. I'd like to get a lot more specs on Polaroid film. I mean, there's different kinds of Polaroid film. Obviously, things that are sensitive to the infrared or even ultraviolet spectrum interest me the most. I might end up picking up an SX-70, probably not brand new or refurbished. I'll keep my eye out at the Goodwill stores. But the film is quite expensive. Maybe I'll pick some up, and if people want to come out here and they want to pay per photo so I can reimburse myself, it's like $3 a photo. So I wouldn't be looking to make a profit or anything. Just to see what the effect would be. Come out to the Grove and take some shots. If anything, you get to walk away with your own Polaroid from an old camera. And maybe we'll get some anomalous effects as well. You never know. Hopefully in the future I can get in touch with Richard's family somehow, some way, and maybe if they're watching this video, they can dig through his stuff, and let's start pulling out the old Bachelors Grove stuff and put it in the archives, get it online. And Richard, I think Richard kind of deserves that. I mean, I hate to see his material get thrown in the garbage or anything like that. I'm sure there's a lot of historical worthiness to the stuff he has. Anyway, off I go for another walk to the Grove and see what I can find.
Photo taken by an Oak Lawn man This shows a greenish-white mist, which was not visible to the naked eye, and yet which was out there when Tony snapped the shot. Tony's been able to duplicate this many times, as have many other people. And any high school students out there looking for a science fair project, psychic photography, way to go for the future, try it at Bachelors Grove. With Polaroid color film, you've got a pretty good chance of maybe duplicating that or getting even better shots.
Was that taken during the daytime?
That was taken towards sundown.
Towards sundown.
Towards sundown.
So in available light.
Available light.
That's a picture of a bluish-white something.
Something
We don't know what it
is
is.
not visible to the naked eye, but which was caught on film.
What is it? Do we know?
You want to call it a ghost? It's
No, I
probably
mean,
the closest thing to a ghost that we have on good photographic evidence around Chicago.
But what was in Bachelors Grove? Why is it called Bachelors Grove? What possible ghost was it?
It's a great name, and it stems from the time when the first settlers arrived in that area. That's Bremen Township. The settlers were German immigrants from the seaport of Bremen, and they were bachelors. When they came to live here and set up truck farms back in the 1830s and 40s, they were bachelors. Eventually, they sent back to Germany for their girlfriends and sweethearts and raised families, but the name did stick, Bachelors Grove. And why is it haunted? Nobody seems to know why, but over the years, there have been reports of a disappearing house, disappearing cars, a blue ghost light, a disappearing house, and now the latest, photographic evidence of something weird out there.